May 8th, 1998, Omaha, Nebraska, interview with Mr. Art Adler. Art, can you tell me about growing up in Omaha?
Oh, yes. Well, my father had a bakery, and that's where, and my mother even worked in that bakery. And, you know, we came from Poland, and in 1920, but my father came ahead. And in those days, we came on a big boat, and we landed here in Omaha because we had relatives, and my father was here ahead of us. And went to Lake School, and later to Tech High. And
What town did you come from in Poland? Do you remember?
Bialystok, the town? Bialystok.
Do you remember anything at all about Bialystok?
Oh, very little. I was 7 years old, and I could have a faint, when I came on the boat, and I just have a faint recollection of it, but not too much.
Did you have a large family living there in Poland?
No, we had, our family consisted of my brother and a sister, my mother and father, and my father left. He left in 1913. My mother was pregnant with me. I didn't see my father till I was 7 years old.
What year were you born in, Art?
And where?
What year were you born?
Oh, 1913.
Did your father come to Omaha because he had a family here, relatives?
Yeah, he had family.
Who did he have here?
Well, he had an aunt that had eight daughters and one son, Louis Adler. And he bought a house on 22nd and Burnett, 2049 North 22nd. I think that's the address, if I can remember. And I went through all the way through school out of that house, lived there, and later on my father built. At that time, from 19th Street to 24th on Burnett Street was all Jews. We lived on 22nd, and there was Wietzers lived right in that house over there, and we had people, Blackers, Maury Blacker that became a doctor, and Dave Krantz, and he was in the furniture business. They were in the bedding business. They had a big family. Franny Blumkin was from that family.
Did your father go to work in a bakery when he came to this country?
Yes, I think, yes, he went to work. There was a man by the name of Siegel. He went to work for Mr. Siegel. You know, that's where Rosie Waits and all those girls, and Leo Waits, and all that whole family.
Was he working there as a baker?
Yeah, as a baker.
And the war interrupted your family coming to this country, or was it a question of your father?
No, at that time, the war was way back. You know, the World War I. That's what my father left. The World War before, and that's when I was born in 1913.
So you came to this country then in 1920?
Yeah, 1920.
At that time, was your father still working for someone?
No, he had gotten into the bakery business for himself.
And when the family came over, did he have a place for you to live at that time?
Oh, yeah, or he had a house. He had bought a house. But what happened was my mother, she was here about 2 weeks in this country, or 3 weeks, I don't know, can't remember. And she got TB or something of the bone. And she wound up in the hospital for 6 months. And then after that, she laid another home for 3 months. And she was crippled. She dragged the leg. But you know who took care of her? Dr. Sachs. You can remember that name. And she got to be all right, you know, but she would drag the leg. And she always, and she lived that way till the end of her lifetime.
Did your mother then work with your father in the bakery?
Yeah. She was a clerk on the counter. And I started as a young boy to deliver bread and all that. And I got a brother still living. He was in the bakery driving the truck. Before I couldn't drive, I was too young.
Is that all your brother did? He drove the truck rather than work inside?
Yeah.
He wasn't a baker?
No.
When you first started learning, did you learn inside doing the baking?
No, I never did. Then when I grew older, I got to where I was solicitation, customers. I had all the customers on Douglas Street, and we worked up with the business for 7 trucks, and 3 of them were just restaurants only. And my brother, he left in 1951 to go down. He went to the West Coast. He went and he got involved in the stock market and all that. And he got away from the bakery.
How about
I was left with the bakery because I had 3 daughters, and I had to work.
How about your sister?
She worked. She went to California. She's living, but she's out of it. I don't want.
So it was just your parents and you that were in the bakery then for most of that time?
Yeah. Oh yeah. All of that. Yeah.
You said, Art, that you went to Lake School. When you started school, could you speak any English at all?
No. I was 7 years old. I started in the kindergarten. You start in the 4th grade. What is it? The 4th graders. I started in the kindergarten.
Were you
I was
speaking
7
Yiddish?
years old. See.
Were you only speaking Yiddish at that time?
Yes, I can't remember when I picked it all up, but it came very fast. You're 7 years old. Came very fast.
Then when you finished Lake School, where did you go?
I went to Tech, and I graduated Tech.
Did you do anything special while you were in high school?
Oh, I played basketball, on a team and like that. And that's about all the specialties I can remember.
And you were probably going home in the afternoon working in the bakery.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Did you do anything beyond high school?
I went 2 years to Creighton.
What were you studying there?
Let's see. Just regular, nothing special, just regular, I guess history and all that.
Did you decide then that you wanted to spend your time working in the bakery?
Well, yeah, I wasn't what you call a real good student, so I went to, I quit Creighton, and I went on got into bakery where it got a little bit larger,
When your father first opened his bakery, where was it located?
Well, at 24th and Clark.
That's where he was originally?
Yeah, 24th and Clark. Until the day of the riot.
Can you tell me something about the neighborhood of 24th Street at that time?
Oh, it was humming. A lot of grocery stores, clothing store, it's Jewish fellows, you know. It was all Jews in the business. They all, you know, I can tell you, Colton, Mike Colton, there was, in the other Colton, two of them had one on. One was part of our bakery. Our bakery was just 2 stores. Then later it was, we built on, you know, and it got where you had 4 stores all connected up.
Did you have a lot of competition at that time?
Yeah, there was competition. The big bakeries was a lot of competition. They had like Butternut, and Peter Pan, and a lot of competition. Just trying to think of all the places.
How about the Jewish bakeries? Were there other Jewish
There
bakeries?
was Jewish bakeries. There was, first Himmelblum and Abrams, the Chicago bakery. See, and a lot of and then there was fellows, Jewish fellows that drove trucks and sold bread to the houses. The Kirschenbaums, Joe's father and Kiwi's father. They went and bought bread from the bakery, so.
And then delivered it door to door.
Yeah. And some of it started with a horse and wagon.
You remember that?
Yeah, sure.
Was there a large Jewish population living in that area at that time?
Oh, yeah. You know, it used to be, at that time you're talking about 12,000 Jews, 13,000 Jews, 14, I don't know. Now it's down to 6 or 5.
You spent then your all time after you left Creighton working full time in the bakery.
Oh, yeah.
And you were doing mostly the business end of it?
Yeah, all through the business, all the downtown stores. Like I said, we had Brandeis and all the Douglas Street and all those stores. And then we had later Hinky Dinky. I remember when Hinky Dinky got started. Of course, I was just a kid then.
What do you remember most of all about working in the bakery, Art?
Well, it was hard, bad hours. You know what I mean? 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Working bakers who wouldn't show up, you know. And I even had deaf and dumb guys. 3 of them. They were characters.
Did you ever have to roll up your sleeves and do any baking?
Oh, the only thing I ever did, I was in the shop and run a machine. You know, guy's short or something. We had to run a machine.
Did you have a lot of relatives living in Omaha at that time?
No, I didn't. I had just that family, that Adler family, and Forbes. Forbes were relatives.
And all of them had come to this country as bakers?
No, they didn't. None of them came as bakers. No, none of them. Later on, the second generations of the Jews came came to this country. You know, I'm talking about past the 40s, when the 40s, the other immigrants started coming.
Do you remember being involved at the Jewish Community Center on 20th Street?
Oh, yes, I joined the center when it was built, 1925. And I played basketball and baseball, and, you know, and I used to go to the center, you know, all the time. I grew up in this center.
You remember any names from that time?
Well, I got a picture of a team that you know, we played.
How long did you play?
I played until I was about 25.
Still working at the bakery all the
Oh,
time?
yeah, yeah.
Was this on Sundays usually, or?
Oh, I played, I mean, it was, Sunday, and during the week, at night, we used to have those basketball games, and all at night. So the streetcars would pick up the people.
Yeah, that was before you had a car, I suppose.
Yeah, the first car I had was, let's see, well, I was 16 when we had the first car. We had a Chevy, square box.
Was this a private car? Was it a truck that you were using in the business?
No, it was a private car. Trucks was separate.
You were 16 years old when you had your first car then?
Yeah, sure.
Did you have a lot of friends when you were in high school?
Yeah, I had a lot of friends, huge friends.
Do you remember any of them?
Well, there was the Forbeses lived right by us, Herbie Forbes, and some of them not today. There was all the fellows that I mentioned, like Krantz and Maurice Blacker, and the guys that became doctors, lawyers. We had a lot of Jews that became lawyers. Yeah.
Were most of your friends within the community at that time? Within the Jewish community?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Do you remember the different synagogues in Omaha at that time?
Oh yeah. We had the one on 19th and Burt, and then on the Rosh Hashanah on Chicago Street, 19th in Chicago. And then we had the one on 24th and Nicholas. And we went to the 19th and Burt synagogue. And as time went on, we joined the Bethel,
When did you meet Sis?
Well, Sis came to work, I knew of her, but came to work as his clerk in the office. She started to work for us in the office. That's how that happened. We're married 59 years.
That's pretty good.
And it'll be 60 the next, yeah.
Do you remember the year you got married?
Yeah, March, let's see, we just had a party, March 19th or something like that, in 1939.
How were times then?
Well, they were fairly good for us. They were good. Times were good.
Were you working a lot of hours?
Yeah, we do hard work. A lot of hours.
Was Sis working in the bakery still at that time?
No, she was, no.
Tell me about your children, Art.
Well, we've got a daughter. Number one is Bob Epstein. And then married to Bobby Epstein, Robert Epstein. And then we got Kathy. She's now married to Keith Lieberman. He's a doctor. Then we got Carol, the youngest one, married a boy from Wisconsin, and he's a bookkeeper. He's a lawyer. He's in law, and they would live in Atlanta, and Kathy lives in Los Angeles.
And how many grandchildren do you have?
I think we got, let's see, there's 3, 6, about 6, and then there was 2 is 8, and then we got a couple of from the, Kathy was married the second time. Got a couple of grandchildren from there. Yeah, Keith Lieberman and his brother.
Do you get to see your grandchildren very often?
Yes, the girls come in. Kathy was in last week, just this week, and Carol was in a couple of weeks before, and they regularly come. And of course, we go to all the fairs. Anything is always, we always go to like bar mitzvah, all that. Of course, we never had any boys of our own. Girls is all we had.
As the years went by, how did the bakery progress?
Oh, it progressed good. That's where we kept going up. We went up all the way up until when we had the riots, and then I moved the place and I sold out. I moved onto Benton Street and I sold out Tinky Dinky. The funniest thing that happened, though, that I really you make mistakes in life. Hinky Dinky came to me the year before the riots. They wanted to buy me a 10-year lease on the building, and they wanted to buy the business. Had the price set and everything. I come home, and my family all said, you're too young to retire. So I backed out. Biggest mistake I've made in my life. Would have been building for lease and money for the business. It wasn't a big money. That wasn't the idea. Today it's world. It isn't. It's not too much. But I made the mistake. Well, that goes that way.
When the riots came to 24th Street, did they destroy your building?
No, they didn't. They didn't just destroy the building because all the police kind of wound up, put the cars back on the sidewalk. They backed them up and they protected it. They shouldn't have. They protected it.
Were you able to go back in there and do any work after that?
Oh yeah. We was doing work that night. So the drivers came to work.
Did things deteriorate at that time with the business?
Oh, it didn't deteriorate. We held all the business. We delivered all the customers.
What made you decide to move off of 24th at that time?
Well, I figured that it'd be hard to get people to come to work, and it was getting bad. It was getting bad. And bad, very bad.
Was it about this time that you moved?
Yeah.
And then shortly thereafter is when you sold out?
Well, after I moved, that's when I sold out, yeah.
And you stayed on then with them?
For about 4 years.
What did you end up doing after you sold out and you had left the business?
Well, first I went to work for KB Foods, and I was there about 4 or 5 years. And then I got sick. I was at an operation, and when I came back, they decided I was getting old, So, of course, after that, I went to work for Mike Platt. But just half days. That's all I wanted, was half days. I just wanted something to do. So I worked for Mike Platt 7 years, just half days.
So those were some good experiences.
Huh?
Those were some good experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your family, Art.
Well, they're all doing very well. You know, Bob Epstein is the Omar Paper Stock, and like I told you, Keith Lieberman is a doctor, and Andy's chauffeur is kind of accountant. I mean, you know, lawyer and accountant.
So it's been a pretty good life, wouldn't you say?
Oh yes, it's been a good life. I tell you, when I look back, and the only bad thing, I'll put everything else aside. The only thing bad, I had a stroke in my leg, and I'm not in the shape that I used to be. Well, up until 4 years ago, I jogged 3 miles a day for 15 years, every day, and I was in good shape. I get the stroke, but I feel good. I have no pain, and you know, I say that listen, I'm still getting around. I got this man Smitty, and I get around and I do everything. I go places, and so I got to be thankful.
What kind of a message would you like to leave for your children and your grandchildren based upon your lifetime?
Well, I think I would just like to leave the message: be honest, get along with people, have friends, and I said to be honest, ain't it? That's and have friends and respect people.
Well, I want to thank you, Art, for giving me the opportunity to come and visit with you today.
Well, I enjoy visiting with you.
Thank you.